Can we please welcome to the stage actress Judy Greer?
There's one winner. And no finish line.
You just said that you had an amazing time making this movie and you loved working with Cooper. Tell me everything about it.
Because the subject matter is so rough in a nutshell that we were we had to cheer ourselves up. We had to joke around a lot and have fun. And like as the release of this movie starts, you'll start to see like on social media and stuff, all kinds of behind the scenes stuff that they were capturing and like all the joking and crazy antics. I mean, I wasn't there as much as the boys, so they'll have better stories than me, but it was actually like really fun to make. I think because it was so hard emotionally. I think like when you're making a comedy, you have so much fun shooting it, but this is like, you have to have fun off camera because otherwise it's so dark and sad and depressing.
Well, it's one of the joys of your career and Stephen King's career that he's, so good at combining horror and comedy and drama and playing in all of these different spaces.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've acted in a King adaptation before.
Yes.
But what's your experience with him as an author?
Well, he's really good at writing books. That guy's super talented. I have now been in movies of both of his first novels, in theory, because this was his first book he's ever written, ever. But the first book released was Carrie, and I was in that one too. I think he's iconic, and he writes stories that are really grounded. I mean, they're horrific and some are supernatural, but like what makes him so popular and what makes people all of us like long time fans is because the characters he writes. And I mean, at least that's what I care. I'm not like a horror person, but I've read all of his books. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're so well written. Like he brings literature and intelligence to a genre, and I like that. Also, by the way, are you all Stephen King fans? Yes. Have you read his book on writing? It's called On Writing. Okay, good. It's my favorite one. And if you haven't, it's a book about writing. It's also a little memoir-ish, but it's just incredible. And it made me want to go back and reread all of his books. And it just made me really appreciate him as an artist and his process. And I would highly recommend it. It sounds like a lot of you have read it, but I would definitely recommend it if you haven't. If you're any kind of artist at all, it's just like that man's discipline is...
He's going places.
He might go places.
When it comes to approaching an adaptation, whether you're playing the gym teacher in Carrie or whether you're playing a grieving mom in The Long Walk,
I was about to say, I have names and I can't remember any of them. This one's Ginny. I remember that one, but yeah.
When you're approaching a character like that, do you pick up the novel? Do you sit down and read it and go there? What's your relationship to the text like in that way? What's your process look like?
Usually it starts by wanting to impress my director, so I make sure to get the book and be like, I read the book. But I'm a big reader, so it comes naturally to me, and I love reading, and I have so many books at home that anytime I have an excuse to buy a new book, and I can say to my husband, like, I had to buy it because it's for work, I'm happy for that. But it's really fun to read a book. It sort of feels a little bit like cheating because obviously in a screenplay, you're not going to get all of the detail of the scene, of the people, of the character, all kinds of things that just can't be in a screenplay because a screenplay can't be like 500 pages long. They shouldn't be. If you're screenwriters, shame on you if your scripts are longer than 150 pages. But that's the fun, and that's kind of the cheating element, is I can like read all this backstory. And even though a director or a screenwriter will be like, we're not using a lot of that, I still use it. It's helpful for me. Like, for example, my son in the book was a knitter. I knit. Yeah, pretty cool. And I was very excited. And I was like, I remember getting to work, getting to Winnipeg and meeting Francis Lawrence and being like, is Ray gonna knit at all in the flashback? And everyone at the table looking at me like I had 10 heads. They're like, no. I was like, okay. Whatever.
I'm a knitter as well. Did you teach Cooper? Did you guys ever sit down and? Oh, right,
no one wants to learn how to knit.
It's easier than people think, though.
I know, it's really good. It's a great on-set activity, by the way. Like it's better than scrolling.
Well, it's silent, which is good too. You can do it in movies all the time.
It's quiet. Sometimes it's really dark on set, and so I have now to like just elevate my dork. I have like this light that I can clip on my chair to see my knitting. But anyway, we could probably talk about the movie. You guys don't want to talk about knitting.
That's workplace survival. It's workplace survival. When you look at a screenplay like this, I think J.T. Mulner is so talented. I think Strange Darling is an incredible movie.
Yeah.
And he did an amazing job of truly trimming it down. When you look at a script like this and you watch how a story gets, brought down, but then you see how you kind of expand it in your performance. Is that a thing that you're thinking of consciously, or do you feel like it's a thing you internalize through the prep process and then it's instinctual?
Whoa. Well, the script was very succinct, and it was, in the book there's 100 boys, and so we have 50. And I think what helped about condensing the cast and the characters is that we just got to know, you got to know the characters a little bit better. And so that was I think that was something that was like, that made it easier. At least it made it easier for me to kind of understand when I was reading the screenplay, even though I didn't have as much to do with the boys, but still, I like to be somewhat knowledgeable about what I'm making when I'm there, believe it or not. He did such a great job. I was just watching these videos today. They send me stuff that I watch to like approve, like behind the scenes videos and stuff. And they made these incredible making of videos. So you guys like look for those when Lionsgate releases them. And the second one, like part 2, it's like Making of the Long Walk part 2. That's the one where J.T. Mulner, the screenwriter, he talks a lot about the process of adapting this. And so that is, I'm just going to refer you to that for the future because he does a really great job of describing also how quickly he wrote this, which was impressive. I'm like learning this today, but he wrote the screenplay so quickly, like in 2 weeks. And then he did I think he said he did 2 rewrites after the initial table read with the cast. And then that was it, which is pretty impressive when you think about it. I mean, it's a novella kind of, it's not like the longest book, unlike The Walk. See what I did there? But that maybe made it easier. I don't think I answered your question. I didn't really understand what it was. I'm sorry.
And that's
but
fair
I told
enough.
you guys some shit. That's what you're here to hear.
No, fair enough. Francis Lawrence, as a director, obviously has this amazing experience with The Hunger Games. Talk to me a little bit about working with him and what that experience was like.
He's so cool, by the way. Do you know he got his start directing music videos? Like Chemical Brothers music videos? Like, he's so punk rock. He's so cool. He is so supportive. He loves actors. And if you're not in the industry, you might think, well, of course a director would love actors, but they don't always love us. It's weird. Sometimes I feel like I'm just in the way. And Francis is not one of those people. He really loves all of us. He gave us all so much space to create these people. He never made me feel dumb if I tried something that didn't work. He seemed always very enchanted by all of us and loved being on set, never complained, was very calm. Again, I wasn't there that much, but I was there in the beginning and I came back sort of like middle end, and everyone was still super happy and they were all acting the same. So that was a good check-in, definitely. No one was annoyed. There weren't cliques. Everyone was still super into each other and still super sweet. I don't know. He was great. I just think that like for someone who has made movies of the scale that he has, like to still be focused on the character and still be directing the acting is impressive to me.
When you talk about the vibe on set, do you find that corresponds at all to genre? I mean, I know you're not saying that you're a horror person, but horror people are kind of famously friendly.
Are we?
A little bit, aren't we? I mean, I think we have a pretty good time.
No, definitely. Let's see, the vibe on set. Like, I think it's fun to make horror movies. This one's a strange horror movie. It's kind of more to me like that like psychological horror, because we're telling you like in the beginning of the movie what's going to happen. Like, you come here and you know like everyone's going to die, right? Like, that's horrific. You know the end of the movie, but like watching it happen and watching it unfold is what's so like, that's the horror, right? And the order of it and how it's done and where it happens and why it happens. And I don't know, I guess maybe people who want to engage in this kind of storytelling, they're either going to be terrifying or they're going to be pretty fun and happy, because you have to try to get people to want to work with you and want to do this stuff. But I'm just curious what, like, people, like, I don't know if we're doing questions to them, but like, what do you love about horror? You seem like a horror fan. You? Yeah, no? Are you not? Okay.
We're gonna be doing a lottery for questions.
It says Black and Dead on your t-shirt. That's the only reason. The Black Parade of that. Anyway, okay, I won't ask you guys questions. I didn't mean to single
No, I like
you
that. It was a
out.
good jump scare. I think we should do that a couple times. No, that psychological horror element is so fascinating to me. And one of the things that I love that you do in this movie, compared to other horror films that you've been in, is, I've seen you in Halloween and Jawbreaker really scream in terror.
Yeah.
But you scream with agony.
I
here.
know.
What's the difference?
Well, it's harder. The terror screaming, usually we save that till the end of the day because it blows out your voice. This was just really emotional. It was really sad. I mean, screaming in agony, I don't know. Sometimes you have to do some magic in your brain when you're on set to get yourself into that feeling and that state of mind, meaning like substitute things in my brain for what will make me feel that way. But in this one, I didn't really have to do anything. It was pretty awful. What was on the page was pretty hard, pretty rough. And the thought of losing my son in that way was enough. And screaming in horror is definitely fun because you finish screaming and then the director yells cut and then we're all like, was that good? Was it like super scary? Like, was it scary enough? Was it loud enough? Was it terrifying? And this, when Francis would say cut, it was just like, whew, okay. Everyone's kind of quiet. We're all kind of processing. And then I'll be like, what do I have to do to get a Diet Coke around here? Like, I feel like I have to release the pressure valve. But
with The Long Walk, there's definitely this undercurrent of the metaphor. Well, there's the overcurrent of it being about fascism and the fall of a government. But there are a million different metaphors that you can read into The Long Walk. What is The Long Walk about to you?
the first time I saw this, okay, well, I've only seen it once, but the time I saw it, I don't know if I can watch it again, you guys. When I watched it, I weirdly felt like it was about, I felt really hopeful when it was over. I don't know, that's just me though. I think whatever you want, you could take whatever you want out of this movie and this story, and I think people are going to take all kinds of different themes from it. But for me, I found myself, well, I was sobbing, but I did not like watching Cooper get killed. It was really hard, but then it just felt really beautiful and really hopeful and like found chosen family, like giving people the dignity of choosing when to go, making friends, feeling love before the end, and then wondering like what's next. I was not really sure if they were going to keep that ending. And I have mixed feelings about it, because part of me was like, I don't want him to do that. I don't want him to kill the general. I mean, everyone saw it, right? I'm not spoiling. Okay. I have been doing interviews about this movie, and I'm like, I can't answer that question. I can't answer that question. I can't answer that question, but now I can. Okay. I wasn't sure if I wanted him to kill the general personally. I was like, what are we saying? If we're saying like it's bad to kill people and then we're killing someone, like the good guy is killing the bad guy, I guess that's what we're supposed to do. I don't know. But but I have mixed feelings about that personally, and I love that. I love a movie where you leave feeling a couple different things, and I love having my feelings change over days after I've seen something. If I'm not thinking about it the next day, then I'm like really bummed out that I spent that much money at the movie theater, and I'm like not even thinking about it. This one I can't stop thinking about, but I think, yeah, I was left with, for some reason, a lot of hope and a lot of love. I don't know. Did anyone else feel that way? Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. There was like 3 people that raised their hand, and they're my 3 favorite people in here. Sorry to you who doesn't like horror films.
When you look at a film like this and you look at the rest of your career, one of the things that I always love is the people always want more Judy Greer.
Oh.
Any movie you're in where we just want a little more screen time, you're kind of the queen of leaving people wanting more. Do you feel like that's by design sometimes?
No,
or is that
not
just
at
by
all.
chance? Right.
I would love to star in everything and be on screen for an entire film someday. That would be dope. Until that day, I will just leave people wanting more. No, I mean, I'm lucky. I have a great career. Like, I'm knocking on wood. I have gotten to play a million different roles. I've gotten to work with so many different cool people, mostly cool people. I don't, I don't have the pressure of, can I open a film? Like, that's such a thing, like, can she open a movie? Can she carry a TV show? Like, I don't have to worry about that. But
so awesome. Would you want that pressure? Would you? I mean,
yeah, I'd like to try it out. It would be cool to see.
All right, well, hold on. You're across a million different things. You're beloved on Archer. You had, amazing experience with Ant-Man. You've been kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
What's our dream Judy project? What are we looking at?
Oh boy. I can't answer that. I should have a
Fair
total answer. I wanted to do something I've never done, is a real just straight up action movie where I'm running a lot. I don't want to run a lot, but I want a woman with a slightly better body than me to be running a lot with a wig on her head. But then I would do the acting parts. But I think it'd be fun to be in an action movie, like a Jason Bourne kind of movie. But that might not be a Lionsgate film, so I shouldn't have said that one. A Lionsgate action movie is my dream job.
You mentioned this was written under a pseudonym, The Long Walk, Richard Bachman, who became Stephen King, or vice versa, depending on how you ask. And he has talked a lot about the idea that Richard Bachman was a more angry version of him. And that, the kind of poetic tone of this film, in many ways to me, sort of reflects the evolution of him maybe being a little bit more generous with some of his worldviews. Do you feel like you've become more or less cynical over the course of your career?
Kind of both. I understand the business so much more, and I understand who I am so much more and what I bring to something. So in that sense, I've expanded my feelings about Hollywood. But like, I also, you know, I think, like, I mean, it's so dark, but like the business is changing. Like, we talk about it constantly. I don't know if you guys like make movies and TV shows and stuff, but it's like everyone talks about what a scary time it is. So it's hard not to be cynical sometimes when like people talk about like, oh, I mean, you guys are all in a movie theater. Like, I go to this movie theater to see movies. Like, I'm really trying so hard to go to the movies and I really want movies to still exist in theaters, and I want people to watch TV shows like once a week again, like, so we remember them. I think, anyway, I just could go on forever about this. I don't want to. I feel both ways. I feel cynical, but I also feel really hopeful because, again, I think that like we are making so much content and we're making so much smart content, and that I think is hopeful and exciting, and that movies are still actually coming out in theaters, and like I think it's really important for us to go to the movie theater. I wish it wasn't so expensive, but it is. Thank you.
Obviously, it's amazing to see an overdue book get an adaptation, but you also have experience in the remake realm, talking about Carrie a little bit.
Yeah.
Are there any of your movies that you would like to see remade, or any that you feel like are overdue?
All pretty perfect.
I agree.
No, I don't know. It's weird. It's like, I have so many friends that are screenwriters and I'm like, really? The well is dry? Like, we're going to keep remaking these movies that were really good? Like, there's great scripts in inboxes, like in so many phones. Like, I don't know. But I also, I mean, books to me, like adapting a book is different to me than like remaking something. I'm wondering, like, when I think of like song covers, like I love covers, but like I want to see a new version of it. I just don't want to hear you sing it the way the original artist sang it necessarily. And so I think like to remake a movie is cool if you really are bringing something to it that is different or you felt was left out. I don't know. I don't know. I like to see more original stuff. This I find to be original because it hasn't been made before. And this book, people didn't, real Stephen King fans I talked to are like, oh yeah, I read that book when it came out. But most people didn't really know about it. And you know, it was written in response to the Vietnam War. And another thing that's interesting about him, you were saying kind of 2 questions ago about him writing this book when he was very cynical, is like, I think he wrote it when he was 19. And his feelings about male friendships and about patriotism and about society and war, like, it's so evolved for a 19-year-old, you know? And it's so interesting that these were the topics that he was grappling with at that age. I mean, I was so lame when I was 19. I can't even imagine having a take on anything that would be like this.
How old were you when you started acting?
I was in high school. I was not good. I wasn't one of those like starring. I was never starring in anything, okay? But even in high school, I was not. But I did start in high school. But it was like to have fun. I didn't really think I would be an actor.
Well, and now you're here all these years later. I'm going to be very selfish in this moment and say that Stephen King and I share a birthday.
What?
Which is September 21st.
That is so soon.
It
That's
is.
my best friend Janet's birthday.
Janet, she has to come to the convention.
Oh my gosh, really? That's coming up.
Well, I'm turning 30. And you famously were in the film 13
Stop
going
talking
on 30.
for a second. Yes, I was.
Would you mind giving me and any other 29-year-olds who might be massive Judy Greer fans a little bit of advice for 30 and the rest of my life?
Like, wear sunscreen, stretch out a lot, like do a lot of stretching exercises, and like give yourself a lot of grace, because you're gonna make a lot of dumb mistakes. We all make a lot of dumb mistakes, but like I beat myself up sometimes about dumb shit I did in my 30s. But like, who cares?
I was told all the dumb shit was going to be in my 20s, so that's bad news.
I did so much dumb shit in my 20s too, but I don't know, the sunscreen thing, I'm really going to stand behind that one. Also on your hands. Like, I leave it in my car and I like do this. So that when I'm driving in Southern California, I have sunscreen on my hands. And look, my hands look pretty good. Thank you. Excellent. Hot tips. Bet you guys didn't think you were going to talk about skincare when you came to this screening tonight.
Skincare, knitting, writing tips. We got good stuff going.
I mean.
With this movie, is there anything that you feel like walking away from it, you wish you could go back and re-experience one more time?
I would love to have been on set more. I had so much fun. I mean, I just had the greatest time. We were in Winnipeg, in friendly Manitoba. That's what they call it. The sister city to Minneapolis, which is why they call it friendly Manitoba, because Minneapolis is like, it's nice to be nice or something. Anyway, I would just like to, if I could go back and do it all again, I wish I could have just been in the movie more, not because I wish I had a bigger role, but just because I loved being on set. I loved those boys, young men. They all cared so much about the movie in a way that when I was starting out, I felt like the people I was working with did not like care as much about like acting in the film and the storytelling, and it was really an inspiration to watch them work so hard and try so hard and get along. And I was just like, God, they're really like, they're taking it so seriously. They're all going to be fine. They're all going to be fine. I mean, except not in the movie, but in real life.
Well, I speak for many people in this room when I say you inspire many, many people, and we were all so passionate about you. Thank you so much, Judy Greer. It's been the long walk. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for staying.